All right, guys. I have recorded this video like three different times, so hopefully this is the exact one, or this is the final one for the day, because I'm about all fed up with redoing this video. But today we're going to be breaking down "Rooftop" from Mural of a Sober Introvert on today's Behind the Beat episode, and this is the final single from the album. One I wanted to put out mostly because it's one of my favorite tracks I've done for an instrumental project to date. It's the exact type of beat I love the most, very emotional, very thought provoking, and it fits this project very well because the whole point of this project is almost a self reflection of my journey as an artist up to this point. And so I felt this beat fit very perfectly with this project. And the original itself was around 4 minutes or so. I ended up kind of trimming it down to fit the album, mostly because, as a fan of music, when I love or when I like or love listening to instrumentals and instrumental projects, I love when the beats are like 2 to 3 minutes, not really 4 or 5 minutes. Kind of just, I lose my interest for the most part, especially if it's a beat that's kind of repetitive. And I try to do like changes in my beats, make them have different, sides to the story I'm trying to tell. But, I'm not trying to hear like 4 or 5 minutes of a beat for the most part. Now, if an artist wanted this, and we kind of redid the whole beat to extend the verses or extend the hooks or whatever, then it's a different story because you got the word element and you can do more things with that. But I wanted to kind of shorten it up and make it concise. So what I did was trim this to focus on the main elements, the ones that I felt were the most important. And I think all these elements in general, they play very well together, but it all starts with this piano, which I feel is probably one of my favorites that I've been able to chop up recently. And I don't remember the exact day I made this, obviously, but I feel like I made this beat probably shortly after I dropped Unknown Advantage a couple years ago because I was still kind of in that mode of doing beats like that. And when I heard these keys, I felt like this was something I wanted to do. So what I did was I'll play you the original, but I ended up kind of highlighting certain points that I felt were the best and then making the chops based on that. So let's hear the original because the original is also great. I'll play that here for you guys. You can hear kind of the part A and part B of that. This is in B minor. What I did was I made it a little bit faster, but I changed, I think, to C minor. I don't know for sure, but I feel like I changed to another minor chord. I think it's C minor. But you obviously saw the points that I made on Slice X, and I ended up rearranging it into this, which I feel like if you heard this on its own without knowing how it was made, you'd probably just think I either played this directly or it just sounded like that on its own. But here is what I came up with. And those chops just work perfectly because then obviously if I go in Slice X and what I would do is go to the tool thing here, and if I go to perfect all regions, that is able to make the sample sound as if it's not a sample, right? It takes the clicks out, takes any pops out, and as long as you're in the right BPM, which we're in 85 BPM, you can make it sound very seamless. And I think this one worked out perfectly. And like I said, you might not even know that that's how that was made, but that's how that piano part was made. So that was the foundation, and that was pretty much getting this thing off the ground. From there, I added this guitar, which is kind of serving as an access point or an accent point, I should say. Add a lot of reverb to it, a lot of saturation, and a nice delay as well. So let's hear that on its own. And not really sure where I found that guitar, but I just loved it so much. Wanted to have it be the signifier for the, when we're in the pre-chorus, we're about to head to the chorus. The drums themselves are not really the focal point, but they get the job done. I kept them very simple, very concise. They're almost like chill hop in a way, like they could serve in almost a lo-fi or chill hop song. But let me see if I did anything to the drums. That's not the drums. Just stretch them to 85 BPM. That's it. So I'll let you guys hear those. There's nothing super complex about them, but let's hear them soloed out. So it just goes those 4 bars, repeats. I didn't even add any variation in. I just threw them in there and let them do their thing. The strings, they are directly in here to complement the piano itself. And all I did was stretch those as well and added a lot of reverb, cut out the unneeded frequencies on the high end because there really isn't anything going on here. I focused all on the highs and the mids right in here. And then obviously here's your saturation, increase the wet level, the decay, damp, go up with that, pulled it into stereo, that sort of thing. The things I would normally do. So let's hear those. Very beautiful, beautiful arrangement on its own. It's crazy because obviously the piano could live on its own. I feel like those strings could live on their own. And this bass right here, this bass could serve many different songs. It could probably be in a trap song. It could be in a dark R&B song. It could be in really any type of song. It just is a boost. It provides that warmth. And I didn't want to do, obviously, I don't remember the day I made this. I can't say for sure, but I want to say I didn't want to throw the bass guitar in mostly because I already had that other guitar going. Not so much because of like frequency clash, but more just I felt like this bass fit the moment for what it was. So I don't know if you're going to be able to hear the frequencies on this, but I'll play it. It is pretty low. Let's see if you let me know in the comments if you could hear this. I don't know. I can hear it obviously in the headphones, but again, it's a very low frequency. You do notice it when you hear the actual song, obviously. But the way I cut this song, the bass line didn't come in at the beginning in the original. It came in probably 15 seconds in, and then because there's a whole different intro. I had the intro where it was just the keys, and then slowly build into everything else. Well, like I said, I shortened this to have it only highlight the main parts of it because I didn't want to go super long. But yeah, I mean, you can hear the bass line in the actual song itself too, if you can't hear it on the speakers here. The only other element is this crash, nice little symbol here. Let's play that. All it does is signify that here we are at the chorus. Add reverb, add saturation. I've done that hundreds of times in different beats. I actually kind of stopped doing it in the last year or so because I felt like I was getting way too repetitive with putting a crash in every single beat. And I was like, yeah, this is kind of getting to the point where it's in every beat I'm making. Scale it back a bit, but it does pop up every now and then. And again, this was made a couple years ago, so I was probably still in the habit of doing that. I'm trying to do that less now. Do different signifiers of like transition points than just a crash, because I feel like a crash is great, but again, if I'm doing it in every beat, I kind of want to move to something else at some point. But it works here. It does exactly what the bass does. Gets the job done, and the drums, of course. So let's hear it all together. All right, so there it is, Rooftop. It's out now. I'll put the link in the description of this video. Hopefully, I didn't talk too fast today or go too fast. Like I said, this is the third or fourth time I've recorded this video today. My screen recorder is pretty much a done deal. I think it's shot. And I found out somehow that on Clipchamp here on Microsoft, I could just record the whole time. So I should have been doing this the whole time. So I'm kind of frustrated with myself that I just now found this out. Hopefully this is going to be a more seamless recording process, and hopefully the quality is better and all that stuff. This is great news for me and great news for you guys. Hopefully the content's going to be getting a lot better here now. um, but anyways, Rooftop out now, link in the description of the video. The album Mural of a Sober Introvert, it's going to be available for early listen on July 17th on Even. So basically, I'll kind of recap that for you guys. Well, if you've been following me for a while, I've been doing the Even releases. This is going to be the last one, at least the last one that I focus on. I'll probably still be putting my solo work up there, but I'm going to be transitioning mostly to Bandcamp stuff from now on. But to highlight what we're doing over there again, early listen on the 17th. You pay $2 or more to hear the music. And then we have a t-shirt, which I would grab the t-shirts in this closet over here, but I don't want to knock all my stuff over. Um, Very cool, like vintage t-shirt. It's got the album art on it. We'll be doing those for I think $25. So you can pay 25, you get that t-shirt, and you get to hear the music early. But that's just if you want to hear it early. If you don't, wait until August 14th, about a month later. It'll be on Bandcamp and it'll be on all streaming platforms. You'll be able to check it out. And I'm excited for you guys to hear this project. It's very personal storyline and theme for myself. But hopefully people can relate to the tracks and hopefully feel something. I know this song in general makes me feel something good, and I call it Rooftop because I feel like, I'm on top of a roof just watching the sunset, just thinking about life. What it made me think of. So that's why I called it Rooftop. Hopefully you guys, think something of it too when you listen to it and listen to the rest of the album. But all that stuff will be in the description to check out. And I'll do another behind the beat next month for one of the other songs before we get into this compilation album that I got coming out in September, which is a whole nother thing in itself. And I'm very excited for that as well. But thank you guys again for watching as always. Stay safe, stay positive out there. We'll see you next time. Till then, take care, everyone.